What's up? It's ya boy, B Slate in the building.
Hey yo!
Hey yo, how you doing, buddy?
Doing really well.
Good, man.
Had a good week. Thank you, those of you that gave birthday shout outs.
Let's go.
Yep. I'm 36, which means I'm, I would maybe say my late 30s now. I don't know if I can call it mid 30s. My hair is getting grayer by the day.
Oh yeah, my hair is also.
Yeah, you got some good looking hair there.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I cut it the other day, and my beard, I'm letting it grow. I'm just rocking it. I'm just saying, let's go, turn it loose,
I'm seeing quite a few mustaches during this quarantine time.
Yeah, it's a quarantine stash or whatever they're calling it.
Is there a name for it? I was thinking about it. I don't know though. I did it for a Winter Wishes. I did it for a Winter Wishes assembly, and it actually lasted like 2 days.
If you let it turn down like that, I think it'd look good. If you just go across, though, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I'd do that.
Yeah, well,
right like that. I don't know.
I think it looked good.
Mustaches are pretty filthy, but I might. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, let's get these guys started on this week's character goal. If they're watching, I want to say hello. Hope everyone is doing well out there. It's been a busy week for me. Got a lot of stuff going on outside of school. We also started graduation ceremonies this week,
yeah.
So that's pretty exciting. The seniors are doing their walking, which is pretty exciting. Now the trick is to convince them that they're not actually totally graduated yet. You still got a job to complete, but the formality of the walk is happening right now. Pretty cool stuff. Good adaptation, I think, by our district to make this move to accommodate what our kids are worthy of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wenzel and I were talking about this week's character goal, and I was talking about some of the conversations that I've had with other adults and students over the last couple weeks. And, what I'm finding is that there's a pretty legitimate barrier right now between people, students, staff even, and joy or excitement, if you will, for what we are doing. It's really hard to get excited about anything right now, because of the fear that that what we're excited about might be taken from us. Okay, so I want to first and foremost tell all the juniors out there that are listening or and thinking about going into their senior year, if you're wondering about aspects of your senior year that we don't know about, we're not certain about anything right now going into your senior year, it would make sense for you to be guarded and protected. And protecting yourself from what you might be afraid of, right? So, if the school year starts in a different type of way than last year as a result of the coronavirus protections and concerns and stuff, you might be worried about that. And it's important that we recognize the legitimate worry and the legitimate concern, but also encourage you to push through that fear, and push through what's the word I'm looking for, the hesitation that you might have to fully throw yourself into the events that you're hoping to throw yourself into next year as seniors, given what you've experienced watching this year's senior class. So Wenzel and I, we're going to talk a little bit about that fear, about ideas and jumping into ideas despite the fears you might have. So Wenzel, you want to share a little bit about what you got for them?
Yeah, our little ones are in elementary school, and in elementary school right now, a lot of teachers are doing read-alouds that their kids can watch. And I thought, well, let's do it for high school students. Okay, so this is a book called "What Do You Do with an Idea?" written by Kobe Yamada. I learned that this is a friend of the family for Milo Ellison, which is cool. He's a local guy. I didn't know that. And illustrated by May Beeson. So here we go. I hope that you enjoy this. I'm going to hold it up a little bit like this. Does that work, do you think, Slater?
Yeah, it does. I made you full screen, so it should be better.
And you can't really probably read along, but I think that's okay. One day, I had an idea. Where did it come from? Why is it here? I wondered, what do you do with an idea? At first, I didn't think much of it. It seemed kind of strange and fragile. I didn't know what to do with it. So I just walked away from it. I acted like it didn't belong to me. But it followed me. I worried what other people would think. What would people say about my idea? I kept it to myself. I hid it away and didn't talk about it. I tried to act like everything was the same as it was before my idea showed up. But there was something magical about my idea. I had to admit, I felt better and happier when it was around. It wanted food, it wanted to play. Actually, it wanted a lot of attention. It grew bigger, and we became friends. I showed it to other people, even though I was afraid of what they would say. I was afraid that if people saw it, they would laugh at it. I was afraid they would think it was silly. And many of them did. They said it was no good. They said it was too weird. They said it was a waste of time and that it would never become anything. And at first, I believed them. I actually thought about giving up on my idea. I almost listened to them. But then I realized, what do they really know? This is my idea, I thought. No one knows it like I do. And it's okay if it's different and weird and maybe a little crazy. I decided to protect it, to care for it. I fed it good food. I worked with it. I played with it. But most of all, I gave it my attention. My idea grew and grew, and so did my love for it. I built it a new house, one with an open roof where it could look up at the stars, a place where it could be safe to dream. I liked being with my idea. It made me feel more alive, like I could do anything. It encouraged me to think big and then to think bigger. It shared its secrets with me. It showed me how to walk on my hands because it said, it is good to have the ability to see things differently. I couldn't imagine my life without it. Then, one day, something amazing happened. My idea changed right before my very eyes. It spread its wings, took flight, and then burst into the sky. I don't know how to describe it, but it went from being here to being everywhere. It wasn't just a part of me anymore, it was now a part of everything. And then I realized what you do with an idea. You change the world. The end.
Oh, good stuff, man.
Yeah,
So a local author wrote that?
I think so. I don't know a lot about uh, this person's story, but Kobe Yamada, Kobe with a K and an I. Yeah, and I think it's a bit abstract, right? But I think that there's certainly something to be said for having the courage to act out our purpose and our ideas and our intention, right? I think that it's easy now to want to pretend like the idea isn't there or pretend like it's not worth it. I think that there's something to be said for the connection between ideas and our why, right? Ideas and our belief, or ideas and our hopes or dreams for our future. And Slater will probably share a bit more, but our character goal for this week is certainly connected to the idea that we don't want to be motivated by fear, right? We have some hope that can come from the ability to act not in the absence of fear, but in the face of fear. And um, my hope is that we remember that when we do, right, and when we feed that and we press into that, even when it's hard, or especially when it's hard, like right now, uh, that it does change the world, that magic happens. And the world may not mean that it impacts every human being that lives here, but the world might mean that it impacts those that you surround yourself with, even if it's a small number of people right now, right? Um, I think that one of the scariest and most dangerous things is that when we lose hope, and I never want to live there. So let's be thinking about that as we set our character goals for this week. Um, I don't necessarily know that I have any great examples or non-examples for you, but I do know that you want to write something here that is concrete, even though the idea is abstract. Slater, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I in listening to you, I wanted to add a little bit to the goal stem. I think that it's important that we first identify what it is that we're afraid of. We identify, it might be something like I'm afraid that, and if I were a student, right, I might be, let's say I'm going into my senior year, I might be afraid that my senior year is going to be impacted by the coronavirus, and I might not get to experience things that I had always expected to experience as a senior.
Mm-hmm.
I might write my goal stem to say something like, I won't let that fear stand in my way this week by still planning for those events, or planning for alternatives in case those things that I'm looking forward to don't happen, and begin to share those ideas with others and see if we can get some momentum behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that might be what I write is this week I plan to reach out to my peers to plan some alternative things just in case the things that I'm hoping for don't happen, and brainstorm. The kids in our lives today have some of the most incredible ideas, the most remarkable ideas. Their creativity and ingenuity is, and their energy that they have to take those into action. We can't really hang with it as
Mm-mm.
grown-ups, right? You talked about being in your late 30s. I'm in my late 30s. I turn 40 in about 3 weeks, I think, something like that, 4 weeks. It's right around the corner. So I look at our kids to be those energy givers and those just those ingenious idea havers.
Yeah.
And so whatever those ideas are that you have, I want to challenge you all to not let fear stop you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to invoke, of course, the famous quote by President Roosevelt, FDR, Franklin Roosevelt. He said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And that is because fear itself is what cripples people. And we're seeing it. We see it right now. Not only the fear of the coronavirus, but you see people who have a fear of their freedoms being taken from them. And, you can't tell me what to do. And you'll see that, and you're hearing of people really reacting in cases, some pretty astounding ways as a result of their fear that their freedoms are being taken. And you notice at the root of all this is fear, right? And it's paralyzing. It paralyzed our whole society. And so it's important that we not let it paralyze us, that we be responsible and safe, but also not let the fear clip our wings.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
so good stuff, buddy. Well, I think we've taken up enough of their time.
Yeah.
But I miss being at school, just being vulnerable. I miss the energy that I get from kids, and I too worry about what's it going to look like next year.
Yeah.
What kind of things are we going to be allowed to do and not allowed to do at school? But that's not going to stop me from getting excited to
Right.
for a new beginning and fresh start and all that. So
Yeah.
let's have some hope, huh?
It's good. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Thank you all. I know that this is a little bit of a longer one, but thank you all for tuning in and continuing to stay focused on your character. In terms of our classroom, I know that a lot of you are getting your work logs turned in. Mr. Slater, quite honestly, has been more on top of the reading and responding than I have. That's been a theme for me. I don't think that that's something that I should be proud of, but I want to just say thank you for your commitment there. Yeah, I'm feeling the weight of all the responsibilities, and I know that you are too. I was talking with a bunch of students yesterday, and they were all feeling behind. And I think Mr. Slater and I were speaking before we started this recording that we are too, and we want to empathize with where you're at, and just know that we're all kind of in that boat. So we're just going to extend grace and patience, and we're going to do our best, but let's be honest about what our best looks like. So that's something for us to be mindful of, right? And if you need help, if you're having a rough go, please reach out to us. You are responding in your check-ins. It's okay to be honest. It's okay to be authentic there, and be real if you like feel like it's beyond just having a rough day, that you really need some help and support.
Yep.
Okay?
We read every one of those check-ins. We might not reply to all of them, but we certainly read them all and take them very seriously. So I love your guys' thoughts. This week, Wentz, on a side note, I had a bonus question. The bonus question is you're hanging out in your room and you start knocking on the walls. This part was not in, it's just what I envisioned. And you hear something on the other side of the wall, so you rip your wall open against your parents' probably wishes, and you discover 10 duffel bags, each filled with $100 million in cash.
Oh my gosh.
Which leads to you have $1 billion in cash. What do you do? And man, I've gotten some crazy responses from kids. It's amazing how many kids said that they would just donate it to charity. That's awesome. What an incredibly selfless heart. But you know, $1 billion. I love Josh Lee's response. He said something like, "That's a lot of money. $1 billion is a lot of money. That is a lot." And so it was kind of fun. But so I'll make sure you get the.
Be sure to share those. That would be fun to look at.
But let's let them go. We'll see y'all later. We miss you. You all take care, and we will hopefully see you very soon.